right, so now we're talking about, this is on the workbook we give you in class here, and this is called converting recipes. And the first recipe that you have in your workbook there is sweet potato soup. So if you're watching this video, go to sweet potato soup there, and you'll see how we solve this. And we had some students help out with this. So Sean, let's go back to you, and maybe you'll tell me what is the original yield on this recipe? Sean?
2 quarts.
Two quarts. All right. And then what's the first thing we want to do with this 2 quarts? We want to convert it to what?
Ounces.
We want to convert it to ounces. How many ounces are there in a quart?
32.
32 ounces in a quart. Very good. And so how many ounces does this original recipe produce?
64.
64 ounces. And I think it's a good thing to start with that. We know we're going to be converting it. All right. Now, Sean, what does the problem ask you to do?
It asks you to convert it to yield 16 8-ounce portions.
So we're going to change this recipe to yield 16 8-ounce portions. Now listen, the recipe says it produces 2 quarts, so we don't know how many 8-ounce portions it's already doing because we just convert to ounces now. So so Sean, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply 16. We want to get 16 8-ounce portions. Is that what it says?
Yes.
Okay. So we multiply 16 times 8, and how many ounces is that?
You get 128 ounces.
128 ounces. In other words, and where does it say that? Down here?
Yeah.
All right, right here.
That's 16 times 8.
Oh, 16 times 8
Yeah.
equals 128 ounces. Okay. So, and Sean, what happens to be 128 ounces?
1 gallon.
1 gallon. Okay. So after Sean, then we went to Dan, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now Dan, we looked at what the scaling number or the conversion factor we're going to use for this is. And so, what did the original recipe produce, Dan?
This is for the pork tenderloin?
No, this is for the soup.
Oh, for the soup.
Sweet potato soup.
Okay.
Original recipe, look right up here, we already said this. Original recipe was 2 quarts, or how many ounces?
64 ounces.
Am I pointing at 64 ounces?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. And how many ounces do we want it to produce?
128.
128. What is the relationship between 128 and 64?
That's half of it. So you want to.
Well, 64 is half of 128.
So you want to multiply it by 2.
We want to double this recipe, multiply times 2, in order to get. So now we're just to get to 128 ounces, which is 16 8-ounce portions. So now Dan, we went over here and we worked with the first item there, which is chicken stock.
Yes.
Right. How much chicken stock do we need in the original recipe?
1 quart.
1 quart of chicken stock, and that was going to give us 64 ounces of soup, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so we're going to multiply 1 quart times 2.
2 quarts.
And you did that without a calculator, 2 quarts, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes. So we're going to simply multiply everything in the recipe by 2. And that's so we originally needed 1 quart, but to make 128 ounces, which would be the 16 8-ounce servings, we now need 2 quarts. That's simply what we're doing here with this recipe scaling, is we're going to find some factor, and then we're simply going to multiply each recipe ingredient times that factor, or divide it if you're making it smaller. And by the way, this is the advantage of using standardized recipes.